we are starting the lesson body movement. In that we have discussed about locomotion, skeletal system, parts of skeletal system, joints and types of joint. So let's move ahead. Let's discuss the next part of the system. In the last video we have discussed that bones, where they meet, that part is called as a joints. Am I right? And these joints are the bones are joined by the fiber, that is elastic fiber, that is ligaments. Am I right? Now if you will look at yourself, human body, we cannot see the bones. Am I right? We cannot see the bones, but we can see the muscles. Am I right? Our whole body is covered with the muscles. So let's discuss them in the detail. So let's discuss muscular system. Now we cannot see the bones. Am I right? We can see the bones in when we get a fracture or when we get a crack in a bone, then we can see our bones. Then when we are removing the X-ray, that time we can detect that there is a crack in our bone. Am I right? So at that time we can see the bones. But the whole bone is covered by the muscles. The whole body is covered by our muscles. So how it is covered? See, the muscles are attached. The muscles are attached by the strong fibers, that is called as a tendons. These bones, the muscles are totally attached to the bones by the fiber, that is called as a tendons. Are you getting this? So now see, how do they move the muscles? What is the use of this muscle? See, because of this muscular system, it helps us to move, it helps us to walk, it helps us to chew the food. Are you getting this? It gives us support to the bone. The muscular system gives support to the bone so that it can move flexibly. So our body can move flexibly. Are you getting this? So muscles helps us in the movement. So now let's discuss about the working of muscular system. Now let's see, in your book there is one activity is given, that is activity number 6. That see, when you keep your arm, when you stretch your arm, that time you feel little bit here burden. Am I right? Little bit, you can see little bit strengthened part you can see. Are you getting? The bones work in a pair. So this muscular system works in a pair. So which types of the pair? Let's discuss them. So when you rest this, at that time, when you raise your hand, at that time we can feel this bicep. This is a bicep and this is a tricep. The bones are working in a pair. At that time, bicep contract and tricep get relaxed. The tricep get relaxed. So what is actually the happening? At that time, what happens when the bones are moved? It is pushed up. When you move your hands, one side of the muscular system, it is pushed up. So to oppose that direction, the another muscular system is used to pull them. Are you getting now? When you will take your hand like this, again you have to make it. Again you have to raise it. Am I right? So this is bicep and this is tricep. This is bicep and this is tricep. When you raise your hands up, at that time this bicep get contract and tricep get relaxed. And when you stretch your arm, at that bicep get relaxed and tricep get contract. So in this way the bone muscles are working in a pair. They are working in a pair. Are you getting this? So look at this. You can see when the muscles are attached to the bones, they get contract. And when they pull, the bones makes them to move. The means what happens actually, they work in a pair. pair. The bones, the muscles are working in a pair. Once it is pushed, the another muscles is used to pull it up. Am I right? So they work in a opposite direction. Are you getting this? So I hope you have understood about the muscular system. So now let's discuss the next part, that is locomotion in the animal. So let's discuss about an earthworm. So can you see this image? See, this is an earthworm. You can see mostly during the rainy season. Am I right? The earthworm we can mostly see during the rainy season. They lives in the soil. Yes, they lives in the soil. So let's discuss about first a body structure and how do they move. How do they move? So earthworm is a long cylindrical. You can see in the image how it is long green like cylindrical in the shape. Yes. You can see in the image it is a long cylindrical which is made up of ring and segment joined end to end. Now if you will look at an earthworm, it has a liquid skeleton, means the skeletal body, skeleton. Now what is the skeletal system that we have discussed? Skeletal system is nothing but a framework of bones, but instead of the solid, it has a liquid skeleton. The body is totally made up of liquid skeleton. Are you getting this? So it is made up of liquid skeleton to maintain the body shape. Under the surface of the body, the number of minute bristles are present. You can see in the picture there are small bristles present on the body for the movement. To get a grip on the ground. To get a grip means what? To hold the ground. Are you getting this? So muscles are attached to the bristle which helps them to contract the body. Helps them in a contract to the body. So there are the two types of muscular system in an earthworm, that is circular and longitudinal. There are the two main types of which helps in the movement of the earthworm. There are the two types of the muscular system, that is circular as well as a longitudinal. So let's discuss how they move from one place to another. Now you can see the earthworm, when the circular muscles are contract, when the circular muscle get contract, the segment become long and thin, and when longitudinal muscles contract, the segment becomes short and thick. Means what happens when you can see in the image, if you might have seen in the image, when the circular system get contract, it becomes long and thin, while the longitudinal system becomes short and thick, little bit broad. Are you getting this? So the earthworm moves by lengthening and shortening of the body segment with the help of circular and longitudinal muscles. To move, first the earthworm contracts the circular muscles of the front segment. As a result, the front part of the body become long and make a little ahead by withdrawing the bristle from the ground. Then the longitudinal muscles of the front part of the earthworm contract and segment becomes short and thick. The bristles of the front part now grip the ground and segment in the rear part of the earthworm become thin and long due to the contraction of the circular muscles. Next, the rear part of the earthworm becomes short and thick due to the contraction of longitudinal muscles, and in this way the earthworm moves a small distance ahead. In this way the earthworm moves small distance ahead. Now if you will look at an earthworm, you might have seen in the picture how does an earthworm moves with the help of the two systems, that is circular and longitudinal system. What happens during the movement? With the help of the longing and shortening method, the earthworm moves ahead. What happens during that? Let's discuss in the detail. So let's discuss. Now you have seen how how the earthworm moves. Now let's discuss the locomotion. Now I'll explain how exactly the earthworm moves. Now this is an earthworm, okay? It has a small bristle, okay? These are the small bristles, okay? So suppose this is a back part and this is a front part. Okay, and when it wants to move, suppose in this direction, what happens at that time? This front part becomes little bit short. This front part becomes a short and becomes a long, little bit long. And the bristles which are there, these bristles which are there, if they are moved, they leave the ground. They leave the ground, and the ground is hold. The grip of the ground is held by the back part. The grip of the ground is held by the back part, and it's taken. It increases the size. This earthworm increases the size, and it moves little bit ahead. It moves little bit ahead, and at that time, once it moves ahead, this front part holds the ground. This front part holds the ground, and the backward part, it becomes so short. It becomes so short and arises the bristle. Arises the bristle. Means these bristles are moved away from little bit from the ground, and it moves forward. In this way, it moves little bit ahead. In this way, it moves little short. It covers a very short distance. First, the front part becomes short and long and thin, and the bristles arises from it. It moves little bit ahead. Then back part, it becomes short and thin, and it moves ahead. In this way, the locomotion of an earthworm takes place. Are you getting this? In this way, the locomotion of an earthworm takes place. Now, let's discuss about the snail. Now, let's discuss about the locomotion in the snail. Let's discuss about the locomotion in the snail. Now, if you will observe the snail, now can you see this snail? Yes, you can see the snail. Snail has an outer covering which is very hard. Am I right? It is very hard, which protects them from, which helps them to protect from the heat and enemies. It helps them to protect from the heat and the enemies. Now look at this snail. You can see, observe the snail. It has a foot which is made of the snail of the foot has a strong muscles. It has a strong muscles. The foot produces a slimy substance called mucus. It produces the slimy substance that is called as a mucus, okay, which reduce the friction between the foot and ground. That mucus helps to reduce the friction between the foot and the ground. Are you getting this? The muscles of the foot enables the snail to move forward. The trail of the mucus is left behind when the snail crawls. The sail does not help in moving from one place to another. It has to be dragged along. It has to be dragged along. In this way, the locomotion in the snail takes place. Now, if we will look at a snail, the outer covering, which is very hard, it is nothing but it is a skeleton. Now, in some animals which has a skeleton which is inside the body, they are called as an endoskeleton. For example, the human being, fish. If you look at a fish is also having the inside the body the skeleton system. Now, the student, those who are eating non-veg, you can see when you if you are having the fish, you can get the skeleton inside the body. So it is endoskeleton. But there are some organisms which has the skeleton outside the body. For example, snail, crab. Yes. So in such animals, so they are called as a endoskeleton. For example, crab, snail, cockroach, they shows the endoskeleton. Are you getting this? I hope that you have understood this. So read the lesson thoroughly. Go to the today's top point properly. Read the lesson, all the points. As this lesson is little bit huge, you have to read them properly. Remove the difficult words and write in your science